Hello everyone, the Instant Camera Guy here, and today's video is going to be a completely different change of pace. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my Fairphone and Fairphone headphones, the Fairbuds XL. I want to talk about my experiences as an Australian buying these headphones. I want to do a little mini review on what it was like to use these headphones, and then most importantly, I want to talk about basically the customer service, or lack thereof, that has been trying to get new parts for these things and getting these things fixed. Now, throughout this video, if I sound particularly jaded or negative towards Fairphone as a company, please note that I am doing so out of a place of wanting them to be better. I'm not going to trash them for the sake of trashing them. I genuinely want their experience to be better for the end user, because as we'll find out very shortly, these headphones failed on me, which I will go into in a little bit, and I've basically been unable to source parts for them, despite Fairphone's entire shtick being that they are a company that is, fair trade, sustainable, and pro right to repair. So let's dive into the video. I'm going to timestamp things if you want to find out particular sections. But yeah, hopefully this video won't take too long, but I think that this knowledge is really important to get out there because I've had a really bad time and I want Fairphone to do better. Now, those that watch a lot of my videos will know that I've talked about my Fairphone in the past. For anyone that has stumbled across this video that doesn't know my channel, I am a camera repair technician. My full-time career involves stripping back, repairing, customizing and upgrading classic Polaroid cameras. And as a result, I am very much pro right to repair. I've done videos on modern devices having built-in lithium-ion batteries that make things hard to repair, and I've developed my own open source solutions within the Polaroid community so that people can use my repair knowledge to, basically make sure that these cameras last forever. And one of the things that happens as a repairman is you end up getting very disillusioned and quite jaded with the state of tech, particularly when it comes to smartphones, which are rapidly seen as sort of disposable devices. These days, modern phones have lost a lot of the features that they had, sort of only 10 years or so ago, in terms of a battery that you can remove on your own, SD storage, parts that are held in place with screws instead of glue and that kind of stuff. It is very difficult for a user to repair their phone these days. And that's what I liked about the Fairphone, because in addition to sourcing sustainable materials such as recycled plastic and recycled aluminium in order to make their devices, they make the phones easy to open up, easy to repair. I can remove the battery if I want to. I can add up to 2 terabytes of storage. The phone itself, I actually really love. And in fact, I've seen other videos such as Linus Tech Tips talk about the Fairphone 5, this particular phone, and, they didn't have a lot of kind things to say. This phone is often seen as something that, has low performance for the price, but I would say that all of that, is completely missing the message that this thing is supposed to be sustainable, last for 10 years, and, basically be repairable. No other phone on the market, with the exception of a few, is really like this. So I think to compare it to something like an iPhone completely and utterly misses the point. And the truth of the matter is, the phone itself, I really haven't had any issues with, other than a few software type things, which I don't really think were Fairphone's fault. I think it was more a byproduct of just Android being Android and being weird and buggy. Basically, any issues that this phone had when it came out, such as the screen brightness and that kind of stuff, have basically been fixed through software updates. So the phone itself, I really like. But one of the biggest criticisms that it got, which I certainly agree with, is it does not have a headphone jack, which, for a company that prides itself on sustainability, I thought was a bit lame, because, I like the option, at least, of having corded headphones, and although you can use one of those little USB-C dongle things that, adapts the bottom of the phone to a 3.5mm jack, I just prefer having the option. And They copped a lot of criticism for being a sustainable company that seems hell-bent on deleting that option. And a bit later, they actually would release their own matching headphones to go with the actual phone itself. Now, to be a bit cynical here, that does seem like a decision that they made to only have this thing do wireless headphones so that they could then go on to sell their headphones alongside the phone. That does seem like an obvious marketing ploy, and it's one that I wish they hadn't have taken. But, okay, I'll play devil's advocate and go, well, you basically can't buy any new phones these days other than some high-end Sonys that have a headphone jack in it anyway, so I kind of see why they deleted it. And, to be completely honest, I had been thinking about getting a set of wireless headphones for a very long period of time, but the thing that put me off them was the lack of repairability. Because as a repairman, I don't want to have to go through difficult fixes of my own products. You'll note this across the field. People that are in IT tend to have reliable computing systems. People that are mechanics or hobbyists that are into cars will generally go with a car that's easy to repair. I mean, there's a reason why simple cars like Mustangs and Volkswagen Beetles and Minis and Citroen 2CVs are as popular as they are as classic cars, and that's because not only do they sell a lot of volume, but you can get parts for them easily and they are relatively easy to work on for the average hobbyist. And I see electronics as a repair technician much the same way. So when these came out, when they were released as, a set of headphones where you could user replace the parts, if a speaker dies, you can replace it. If the battery dies, you can pop the housing off and replace it. I was like, wow, that answers all my prayers. Now, these things were not cheap. I had to import both the phone and the headphones because Fairphone only exist within Europe. They do not sell stuff in international markets. I think you can kind of get third-party grey area imports in the USA, but I imported my phone. It's easy enough. There are literally sellers on eBay and Amazon that will happily supply to Australia, and my phone works here with my SIM card. I haven't had any issues even when the 3G network was switched off, so I've been very happy. One of the things that Fairphone prides itself on is repairability, in addition to sustainability, as I was saying. So basically their warranty, all of their products are at least 2 years. So the headphones are 2 years. The phone is, I think, 2 plus 3 years if you register it. And effectively, because these things are designed to be repairable by the end user, they will effectively just send you spare parts as far as I'm aware if things break. I mean, they literally released an Instagram ad the other day saying just that. Or if it's something that you feel you can't fix it yourself, apparently you can send it in to be fixed.
We're confident in the quality of our devices, and we also want you to be able to keep it for a really long time. If you do happen to have a problem with your phone and it's covered by our warranty, then we will send you a spare part so that you can repair it yourself at home. Otherwise, you can send us your device and we will repair it for free.
Now, I repair regularly some of the most complicated cameras ever known to man, in the form of the Polaroid SX70. These are very complex things. You've got to know a good amount of soldering and mechanical knowledge. I fix these things all day long, so a set of headphones should be a doddle in comparison. I mean, how complicated are they really? Everything is designed in such a way that it's, easy to be replaceable, right? Like the cable just unplugs. It's based on USB-C. Everything about the Fairphones is designed to be able, for even someone with very limited skills, to be able to repair. All right? So, what's the problem? Well, as I said, I paid a small fortune for these headphones. So maybe now's a good time to talk about the headphones themselves and what I think of them. Well, I think they look really nice. I think that the recycled plastic with the speckles is a nice touch. I think they feel really nice. The head strap, the ear cups, very, very comfortable to wear. I've never had an issue. I've been out walking for hours wearing these things. I have never found them to be uncomfortable. So, from an aesthetic and from a wearability point of view, I think these are really nice. How do they sound? Well, that's probably the most important question, right? Personally, I think they sound very average. I would say disappointingly average. Now that was a caveat that I was willing to sort of accept, because, you know, I knew that a company prioritizing sustainability, you know, wasn't exactly going to be able to go up against the likes of someone like, you know, Sennheiser, for example. But these do sound very, very flat. So I'm just going to turn them on for a second, make sure my Bluetooth is paired. Fortunately, these things do come with a phone app that does allow you to change the EQ. And I found that if you did the classic audio engineering trick of scooping the mids, so basically reducing some of the mid frequencies and boosting treble and bass, you could get a fairly decent sound out of them, but these are not amazing sounding. If you're just going to be listening to podcasts, it's going to be fine because it really is mid-frequency heavy. So if you're just listening to the human voice, these are going to sound fine. And fortunately, I do listen to a lot of podcasts, but when it comes to music, they're pretty flat. They're not the most enjoyable thing. These Sennheiser HD 202s, which are, you know, these are a pretty basic set of fairly cheap Sennheiser headphones. I literally found these on the garbage on the side of the road. These demolish the Fairphone in terms of headphones. Now, obviously they are a cabled headphone. Cabled headphones often sound better than wireless because wireless has to have its own built-in amplification circuitry, which can't often compete with what, you know, a proper stereo amp could do, say, for example, in a home hi-fi system. But these will absolutely pants the Fairphones any day of the week, and these cost me $0 because I found them on the side of the road. So they feel great. They sound pretty average. And the last thing I want to comment on in terms of usability is something that does annoy me. It's got this nice little joystick which you press in to turn them on, press in again and hold to turn them off. But one thing that I find annoying about the Fairphones is the Fairbuds XL is the noise cancelling is always on by default. Now, I don't know if you've ever used noise-cancelling headphones, but even the best noise-cancelling headphones in the world always sound a bit funny compared to just letting them play with that functionality turned off. And that's just a byproduct of the way that it works. Noise-cancelling headphones work by having a little microphone on the side of the headphones that picks up ambient noise, inverts the audio signal, and plays it back at the same time as the audio through the speakers, effectively cancelling out the noise from the outside world. Because if you play a regular spectrum of audio and then the inverted spectrum, the two cancel each other out. And so basically the frequencies become like moot and you can't hear them anymore. It's quite an amazing science. But like I said, it always makes the sound kind of funny. My preference is definitely to run them without the noise cancelling, unless I'm in an environment where I need to use that, such as being on an aeroplane when traveling, or being on busy streets, or, you know, maybe I'm in the kitchen listening to my headphones and I've got the extraction fan on over the stove and I want to drown out that noise. Then it's nice to use these. But if I'm just walking the dog, I would much prefer the better audio quality that comes from just having that noise cancelling turned off. So I think it should be something that you should be able to opt in instead of having to cycle through the modes every single time that you put them on. Because overwhelmingly, I want to run these. Speaking of noise, motorcycle outside. I want to run these without the noise cancelling. That brings me to the problem with these. The automatic noise correction on these headphones failed within the first 6 months. Now, when I say failed, the left ear only, not the right ear, the left ear only makes a crackling sound whenever the headphones are turned on. So basically, when you turn them on, put them on your head, you can hear this noise in the left ear just going, and it's really annoying. If you cycle through to ambient mode and then noise cancelling off, that noise completely goes away. Now, this happened to me about 6 months into owning these headphones, and I assumed that maybe what had happened is some dust or I don't know, moisture or debris or something, got into the little microphone hole on the side of the headphone, and maybe it was, because if you rub the microphone, you can hear it inside the headphones, right? Because it's picking up that external noise. So I thought maybe the microphone was dirty, but that turned out actually not to be the case. In fact, if you open this thing up, and I'll demonstrate that in just a minute, if you open this thing up, there's actually a ribbon cable that connects the microphone to the circuit board, which then feeds that microphone input into the ANC, the automatic noise cancelling. You can actually unplug the microphone completely so that it picks up absolutely zero signal. Can you hear that? Yes, it randomly just starts crackling on its own. It's intermittent. Yeah, can you hear that? I don't know if that's going to be picked up on camera, but it's really loud when you have them on your head. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, if you completely disconnect that microphone, even on both sides, that noise is still present. So that tells me that it's actually within the amplification circuit itself. So there's clearly some kind of a fault with the Qualcomm chips that Fairphone has installed into these things. Now the second issue came from the headband. Fairphone use a recycled plastic to make these, and this particular part, because of the way that it's spring-loaded and fits onto your ear, obviously got stressed over time and ended up snapping. So whilst the left ear is still intact, the right ear has broken. Now fortunately there's enough of that stalk left to still insert into the band so that I can still wear these things and, still get some audio on it, provided that the noise cancelling is not turned on. Otherwise, the crackling sounds like fireworks in my ear. But, the fact that that broke is annoying. Now, I'd like to point out that I'm not the only person that has had these issues. I found other forum members complaining of crackling only in the left ear, and even one of my clients who lives in the Netherlands, which is where Fairphone is from, his Fairphones did the exact same thing. It broke in the same place that mine did, so this plastic is clearly a weak point. Now, if you followed me this far into the video, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that's awesome, Jake. A good thing that you can get spare parts from this company in order to fix your phone. Well, that's what I thought. So, the problems that I had with this phone started happening, I would say, probably June 2024. Initially, I put up with the crackling thinking it was just the microphone, but after taking them apart and discovering that wasn't the case, I started to think, well, maybe I definitely need to get these headphones seen to. I should contact Fairphone. So I contacted them in November, and I got a customer service representative named Leslie. Leslie seemed like a pretty nice guy. Because I am spiritually a boomer, I actually printed out some of the email transcript, and I'm going to read it out to you now. So after a bit of to and fro, basically making sure that it was the headphones that were in fault, they had me troubleshoot and restart the headphones and that kind of stuff. After I revealed that I lived in Australia, I got this particular response. They said, repairs and replacements are not supported outside of the listed countries. Now, Australia is apparently not part of Europe, even though we were in Eurovision the last few years. But I get that, it's very far away. I get that I'm not in a country that has the warranty, but, it shouldn't really matter. The product broke, right? If I was a Dutch person going on holiday for a year, I would have been just as annoyed at my headphones breaking, right? So they said, additionally, we unfortunately do not have the logistics to arrange repairs when being outside Europe. Now, they said, we recommend asking a friend or a family member to ship it to the EU. They'll check the parcel and the phone in case of damage or fault, and then that friend or family can send it back to me, right? Now, first of all, saying you don't have the logistics to ship something outside of Australia is grade A bullshit, right? That is a corporate decision. That is not a fact. Stating it like that in an email saying, oh, no, we can't possibly send parts to Australia, that's impossible, is objectively false. The post office exists. I live in Australia, not the goddamn moon, right? You're not sending my parts on a rocket all the way to Mars. You're putting a different postage label on something and sending it out to me, right? It's a slightly different customs form at best, and probably a slightly higher cost, but we're talking about small little parts here. Hardly that you lack the logistics. But again, I totally understand that. In fact, I am happy to sit back and think, well, I get it. You know, they're only covering this warranty inside of Europe. Fortunately, I have a lot of European clients that could happily accept spare parts. I've got a lot of clients from Europe that send me stuff all the time. It's probably possible that I could have Fairphone ship the spare parts needed directly to them, who can then send it directly to me. So I'm prepared to pay some postage. I'm prepared to pay postage one way from Europe to me to get these parts. The parts should be free because it's failed under warranty, but I happily accept that I have to pay the postage. So I basically said in so many words, look, that's a lot of nonsense and you know it. The Dutch are pretty clever people. They're people renowned for their problem solving. I mean, just look at how they kept the bike lanes under the Rijksmuseum if you want an example of that. But I said, that's nonsense. I said, let's talk to each other like human beings here, not corporate messages. I said, why don't you send the parts to one of my good clients? They're going to ship it out to me. Everyone's happy. You still keep your logistics within Europe. Because realistically, they're the same headphones. It's just that I've been using them in Australia versus Europe. As I said, it wouldn't make a difference. If I was a Dutch person and I had, traveled to Australia for a year for a working visa or something, I would be in the same boat, right? Now, Leslie got back to me and said, apologies for the late reply. We do want to remind you that, unfortunately we can't ship the spare parts outside of the European Union. We can't make exceptions. Again, I get that. It's a bit bullshit, but okay, I'll play along. Then Leslie goes, if you have family or friends in the EU, we're happy to send them the spare part so that they can send it to you. Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Now, they said that we understand that this can be disappointing and we truly apologize for any inconvenience caused. If there's anything else we can assist you with or any further questions, don't hesitate to let us know. Now, this was happening. I basically initiated conversations around mid-November, and we are now talking about December 19 that I got that last message. So one of the things that I found with Fairphone, the customer service is excruciatingly slow. It was taking me multiple days to get an email response. Now, I understand they're a small company, they're a small team, but guys, come on, it does not take 5 days to respond to an email like that, right? So it is now December 19. I'm officially going on Christmas holidays, right? I didn't really check my emails then until after Christmas. So around sort of December 30th, I got an email from Fairphone just being like, hey, do you still want these parts? Or otherwise we'll consider the matter closed. And, fair enough, I took a few days to respond to an email, but I also don't think that's unfair considering Fairphone had been doing the exact same thing to me. It was taking them multiple days to respond. And this is Christmas that we're talking about here. I am allowed to take a few weeks off for Christmas to see my family and have some time to unwind after what was a very busy year. So I said, no, I still want the parts. Here's the guy's address. Now this is where things take a turn to complete inshittification. I responded around December 30th. It took them until January 22 to finally got back to me, where I was now dealing with a different representative named Mikkel. Mikkel basically said, I apologize for the delayed response. We're currently experiencing a rise in requests. Note that we're doing our best to get back to everyone as soon as possible. Yeah, this was like 20 days later. This is far worse than me not responding over Christmas. They said, my name is Mikkel from the support team. Nice to meet you. As my colleague you were speaking to is out of the office, I will briefly take over. I understand that you want to send your Fairbuds XL for repair. Thank you for finding a solution with a friend. No. I'm not sending out my Fairbuds, because that's what Leslie initially wanted me to do. He wanted me to pack these things up, send them to the Netherlands, have them send it to my friend, and then so basically me send to my friend in the Netherlands, who sends it to them, who then sends it back to my friend in the Netherlands, who sends it to me. that's going to cost a small fortune in shipping. That's like so many to's and fro's. So they've basically gone from going, yeah, we'll send you the parts, no worries, to, oh yeah, send them in for repair. And then they basically wanted the contact information. Now, that's when I responded, whoa. That's completely ridiculous. Like, I'm not shipping these things all the way across the other side of the world when the entire point of your company is to make the phones repairable for the end user. This thing is held together with Phillips head screws. Like, I've got the tools. I've already taken the things apart to assess the broken bits and pieces. I should not be sending them over. So I basically said, no. I don't want to send them in. I just want the parts. Give me, a new speaker hub. Give me like whatever. Send me the board. Send me whatever piece. I promise you I can fix this. I just need the parts. You can send them to my friend. And that is when Mikkel responded on the 27th, 5 days later. Thanks for your message. There seems to be some confusion. As you're having multiple issues, including the ANC, we would like to send the device in for a full repair. Now, I had already been approved to get just the parts. I don't really care how they want to do this, whether they just want to send me the ear cups, whether they want to send me the board. I don't really give a toss. These things are really easy to take apart. And now, all of a sudden, they want me to pay postage all the way to the Netherlands and back, so that a member of staff can sit down and do the repair for me, which should be something that I not only have the right to do, but it's the entire premise of their company. It's literally what they're about. Unbelievable. Are you somehow telling me that it's going to be more cost effective for you to have someone in the Netherlands take these things apart, wasting their time putting it back together when I can do that on my own? Utterly unbelievable. I responded basically by saying that was a load of crap and I would happily start to air my grievances with all the bullshit that I'd been put through. From that point forwards, I received no further communication from Fairphones, and that's basically where I am today, using my voice as a YouTuber to basically say what a load of crap their customer service is. Because, and like I said, this has nothing to do with me living in Australia. It has everything to do with the fact that, we came up with a solution that keeps everything within Europe, and they reneged on the deal. The entire premise of the company is to have parts that are replaceable on your own, and I have been denied the opportunity in which to fix things. I get that you don't want to spend the extra few dollars to ship direct to me, even though you could, because you're going to spend money to send it to someone locally anyway. You might as well cut out the middleman. Fairphone, I'm happy to pay you if you just ship me the parts. And so the entire thing, what you got to realize when you run a business is how you handle customer service goes a long way. Because it's a lot more expensive for you long term to make a customer unhappy than it is to simply do your damn job and honor a warranty. You know what I mean? Because I've gotten to the point where I am taking time out of my Sunday to make a YouTube video about how disgruntled I am. Anyway, Fairphone, if you are watching, do better. Hopefully, you can take some of my advice on board in terms of correcting the issue, solving the ANC problems, and maybe strengthening the headbands. Hopefully I haven't come across too much like an old man, and like I said, I'm sure that there will be some of you that will go, oh yeah, well if you look at the fine print it does say that they only support Europe. That's besides the point. As I said, if I was from Italy and I'd purchased a set of headphones and then I'd gone to the USA for a year, it would be no different, right? The fact is, this company has built a product that is user-repairable for the end user. They say in videos that when the product breaks, they'll simply ship you the new part.
And we will send you a spare part so that you can repair it yourself at home.
And they have proved that demonstrably untrue. So, anyway, your move, Fairphone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am going to basically get back to enjoying my day, edit this video. I hope you enjoyed this as a bit of a change of pace. Ultimately, what do I think of Fairphone? Well, I like their phones. I think they're cool. The headphones are fucking shit. I absolutely regret spending, you know, the $500+ US that I paid on these things, because I have headphones with a dangly headband and crummy automatic noise correction. These are ridiculously overpriced for what they are, sustainability aside, right? I think in Australian dollars this thing cost me about $1,400. Honestly, that's not that bad. It wasn't that much more expensive than the Samsung Galaxy. And the Samsung Galaxy had infinitely less storage. I've got a terabyte micro SD card in here. So for me, storage is important because I like to keep things local instead of on a cloud. So for me, this was actually better value than the Samsung. These are crap. I'm very disappointed in the entire company and how they've handled this thing. And I will be keeping this video online, basically so everyone else can see what's going on. If Fairphone reach out to me after this, then I will happily do a follow-up video, but this video remains because I think that it's worth documenting. Anyway, I will catch you next time. I'll do a little teardown in terms of so that you guys can see how the microphone works and stuff, but yeah, I'll catch you in the next video.